What's a low achiever attitude in terms of learning? What goes through the mind of a low achiever when they see something new, when they see a new idea, a new concept that somebody teaches them? Sure. It feels uncomfortable, maybe. There's a change aspect. What else? What else is going through the mind of the low achiever? We'll do the high achiever in a minute. They don't believe it. Doesn't work. What else?
They grow up doing their old ways. They find it difficult to spend that time to that new technique.
Sure. So the time involved in putting this new thing together.
Looking at it negatively as well.
Absolutely. Look at it negatively. That won't work for me. That tends to be the mindset of a low achiever. There's no way that will work for me. Do you know, I've had people watch my videos, for example, and I've had people say, oh, it's contrived, it's too easy. I've had other people say, I copied the same wording and tried it, and it worked first time. You've got to put a video into context. It's filmed, and it's there, and it's informational. But it's the attitude of the person watching it that determines how you take it forward. So if you see something today and you think, that won't work for me, let's talk about it. Because you're in a dangerous territory when you say, that won't work for me. What's a high achiever thinking when they are exposed to exactly the same training material? How could I implement it? How could it work for me? Not that can't work for me, but how can it work for me? If you look for the good in things, you'll always find something. You know, I could talk a load of tosh today. Hopefully I'm not going to do that. But if I did, you could still, with the right mindset, come away with something positive. Because you'd have a creative thought. So don't just look for the ideas I'm going to share with you, but look for the creativity. Who's ever had this situation where you've had a brainstorming exercise? And halfway through, someone throws in a crazy, ridiculous idea. And then you say, I'm not sure about that idea, but do you know what? It's just given me a good idea. Has anyone had that experience? So, you know, this is an opportunity for you to be creative, to find fresh ways to do things. I'm always finding fresh ways to do things. I read an article on the web about achievers. They said that achievers have got a childlike enthusiasm to learn. It's quite nice to think I'm 50 years old, I'm still a kid, because I was quite pleased with that one. So, you know, look out for the good things. You know, there's a continual learning process. Another phrase I'm using nowadays is, the older I get, the more I realize I don't know. There's a huge amounts of stuff out there. I'm going to share an idea with you today, which isn't in widespread use, which I guarantee is going to make you money. And it's combining a traditional recruitment technique with LinkedIn. Very, very few people have even thought about doing it. So I'll share that with you later on today. So mindset, don't fall into low achiever territory with your arms folded, saying, oh, that wouldn't work for me. I'm already doing that. Think, you know, where can I improve? How could I add an efficiency? How can I become more productive? You know, if I'm doing this in tennis, it's not very good against Roger Federer, is it? Now, I'm doing an ordinary activity there. He's doing an ordinary activity in an extraordinary way. So you've got to, if you want to go on to extraordinary performance, it's not just about learning something, it's about mastery. So if you know a technique today, think carefully about, are you using it? Aristotle, amongst many quotes, if you look on the web and just Google Aristotle quotes, you kind of wonder what he did 3,000 years ago apart from write quotes, because there's a lot of them out there. One of them was, you don't really know something until you do it consistently. So look for the consistency in your approach today. Think about, if you know a technique, it's not good enough just to know it. You have to use it. And I listen to recorded phone calls of recruiters. It's astonishing. I'm playing the call and I'm going, there, now, say it now. And it just goes by, whoosh, goes straight over people's heads. Show of hands, how many people listen to call recordings? Listen to their own call recordings and critique them. It's a bit painful, by the way. Who hates your Auntie Vera at a wedding with the camcorder on you? Who goes like this? See, because people don't like to be on film and they don't like to listen to their own voice because it sounds a bit weird. Sometimes. Is that just my voice or is that your voices too? So, and it's also painful to observe your own mistakes. Top performers are prepared to do that. They listen to calls, they analyze, and they look for the things that they've missed. And they don't say, I already know all that. They say, I can't believe how did I miss that? I interviewed James Caan a few years ago on film. And I asked him what drives him. Everybody heard of James Caan? Yeah. He made £65 million when he sold Alexander Mann. The guy's seriously wealthy. And I asked him what drove him, what motivated him. And he said, fear of failure. He said, every day I went into work thinking it's going to go wrong. I was always beating myself up because I made mistakes. Well, top performers are looking for where they could improve all the time. So I hope you find that mindset introduction useful for you to get more out of today.